All right, greetings everybody, and welcome to week number 11. That is right, week number 11. That's 5, that's 10, and that is 11 of your 7314 class, which is your reference class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. Jace K. Alston, and what we are going to do this week is a quick state of the course update, and we are going to follow that state of the course update with an introduction into some automotive resources that you will find typically at public libraries. So for those of you who are not aware, yes, again, I try to make a lot of the check-in video material, things that are concentrated mostly at public libraries, because your semester-long project introduces you to a lot of things that you'll need to key in on at academic libraries. So this is the way to kind of balance things out. Unfortunately, I can't make those assignments for public library things because not everybody has the same public library access. All of you have the same academic library access to the resources here at Mizzou. You might work for an academic library that gives you some additional things you can work with, but all of you have access to Mizzou resources. I don't know who here has access to Mid-Continent Public Library resources versus St. Louis County Public Resources versus St. Louis City Public Resources versus Daniel Boone, so forth and so on. So yes, this is why I try to focus on these public library materials in the check-in videos, and that's what we're going to do today. Usually when people need automotive help and want to get automotive resources, they go to the public library for that, not the academic library, certainly not the K-12 library. So with that said, let's get into it. First of all, I am apologetic for missing last week. I just had to. I was in a place last week. I wasn't feeling well mentally or physically. It was just bad, and thankfully the physical started to pick up, and then the mental, I guess hopefully the mental will pick up one day too, but at least the physical is picked up, and I am now able to sit in front of a computer screen and put together a coherent sentence. At least that's what I'm thinking I'm doing. If I am not putting together coherent sentences, then let me know. Just email me and say, hey, Dr. Jace, your sentences, they weren't really coherent. Okay, and with that said, what do we have on the horizon? In order to find out, we need to go home, and now we are home. I am recording on November the 4th, so we've got a lot of these guys to close out of. You do have, first of all, the main thing to know, the big thing to know is you do have a discussion board prompt that is due this weekend. So you do have a discussion board prompt that is due on November 9th, which is Sunday. That is your next to last discussion board prompt. So after this one, you just have one more discussion board prompt 7, which will be due in December the 7th. But this is the only one you have due this week, and please get that done by Sunday night. We do have a sync session on November the 18th, so that's going to be 2 weeks from now. Again, I'm recording on November the 4th. I have a sync session with my academic libraries class next week, and then I will have one with you all the week after that, November the 18th. And so this is pretty much what you've got on the horizon. That sync session, you've got 2 discussion board prompts. You do have, I don't know why your LibGuide due date isn't showing up here, but let's go ahead and pull that up too. You all should be working on those LibGuides. So when is that due? It escapes me for the moment. November the 23rd, thank you. So we do have that LibGuide that is due November the 23rd, and then your semester long project is again due on that date was, make me small, thank you, December the 12th. So yes, go ahead, keep plugging away at those things. Hopefully you have been working on the semester-long project for a while now, and, just work at a pace and you'll get through it, okay? Some things that I do want to say about the LibGuide, though, is that you all are actually doing a really good job as far as asking questions. You all have asked a lot of questions about the LibGuide, and that's what you're supposed to be doing when it comes to the LibGuide assignment. If you're unsure whether or not something's acceptable, if you're unsure about certain sources, things like that, you're supposed to be asking me. And I have gotten a lot of questions, and so that does mean that I am thinking that you all are going to do a really, really, really good job on your LibGuides as compared to classes that I've had in the past that didn't have as many questions, and then once they turned the assignment in, things weren't quite as good as they could have been if they had clarified any confusion that they had. I'll put it that way, okay? So yeah, you all are asking questions. Continue to ask questions. Enjoy this LibGuide assignment. Have fun with it, okay? Life is too short to not be having fun anyway, and this is something that you most certainly can have fun with. All right, and with that said, that is pretty much it for the state of the course update as far as I can remember. I know that I'm in the process of grading your Wikipedia edit assignments right now. I am halfway done with those. So I am literally halfway done with those. I've graded half of the class, so if you haven't gotten that grade yet, it is probably coming this week. But yes, those have also looked good. The ones that I have actually assigned grades to have looked pretty good so far. So thank you for that, and keep up the good work. All right, let's go ahead and look at some resources related to automotive situations. Okay, so I apologize. I do need to pivot. Actually, Mid-Continent used to have two. First of all, they used to have two. And this doesn't count. They used to have like a small engine repair thing as well as the Chilton Library. And I was gonna try to do Chilton Library today for you all, and there it is. Okay, thank you. All right, so now I can do what I was planning to do. Give me one moment. All right, yeah, so if this thing is working, then let's just go ahead and get into it. And let me show you just a few basics of it. All right, so when you get into Chilton Library, and so some of you, especially if you know people who work on cars, some of you may work on cars yourselves, whatever the case may be, I don't know anything about a car. You can put an alternator in front of me and say, hey, what is that? I don't know what it is. The only thing I can identify in the car are the battery, the seat belt, and the gas, whatever. I don't even know what you call it. I just know you open that thing up and you put that gas up in there. But having said that, what we can do is these Chilton, you've probably seen the Chilton books, like these Chilton manuals. You can get them at AutoZone, Advanced Auto, or wherever. And a lot of libraries actually try to collect those Chilton manuals as well. When I worked at the public library in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, we had a whole section at the main library that was just Chilton manuals, and people could come in and we would collect them. People would donate some of the old ones for cars that they no longer had, and we were more than happy to have them because there were people who might end up needing that Chilton manual for that same old car that somebody else didn't have anymore, but this person did. Okay? So the Chilton manuals are out there physically, and that's probably what most people would prefer. But when you don't have the Chilton manual available, then the Chilton Library is something that you can lean in on. So the two things that these are mainly used for are like symptoms, maintenance, bulletins, and then also test prep and that sort of thing if you're trying to become a mechanic. So to show you how all of this goes, and this isn't going to take very long at all, I'm going to see the public library, Mid-Continent Public Library no longer has the small engine database that they used to have. I'm seeing that it's no longer available. I am going to try to see if one of the two other public libraries that I have access to, maybe one of those has it. Who knows? I'm hoping so. But we will see. In the meantime, let's take a look at this guy. So I have a car that actually just stopped working this week, and I think it's done. I think it's on its last leg because the mechanic, when I last took it there, he told me, yeah, I put a Band-Aid on it. It'll run for a while, and then it's not going to run anymore. So I am about to donate that old car to charity for parts. And that old car is a 2014 Nissan Altima. So let's go ahead and look up at that car. And we can do this, Altima, there we go, and then select. So once you have select, you will be brought to this page here. And again, so what you basically, for the most part, people are dealing with either repair, maintenance, or bulletins and recalls. Now you can do the labor estimate. In fact, I am going to just take a look at that. But I get confused with the labor estimating, so I try not to speak too much on that. The mechanics know what these numbers mean in there, but I certainly do not. But yes, so I'm here for the 2014 Nissan Altima, and let's say that I had a brakes issue. What I could do is for repair, I could go here, and then you can also do a free-form search. So you can say brakes not working or something like that, or a headlight not working, headlamp not working. I'm just going to go into brakes and parking brake system. I'll do that one. Sounds like it's basic inspection, precautions, preparation, removal, and installation. This is probably what somebody might want, is the removal and installation. They are going to put in some new brakes. And what you can do is click that, and then, again, I don't know the difference. Brake control, brake shoe, I don't know. Let's go with brake shoe. Oh boy. Okay, let's do the installation again. All right, and then you're going to come to something like this, and it should, yeah, I was about to say thank you. Yeah, it should have a diagram and stuff like that. So you've got warnings and cautions, and then you have step-by-step directions there, and you have some diagrams. The diagrams tend to be pretty crude, but they can be kind of crude in the actual physical manuals as well. So that's nothing new. But yeah, you go in there, and you can get this information on how to, in this case, how to remove and install your parking brake shoe. So that is how that works. All right, and then again, you can do the freeform search as well. Like, let's say that I had, what are we doing? All right, hold on. All right, let's try this again. So headlamp is what I want to search for. Again, as you saw, the database was kind of glitchy. All right, let me pause this. I don't know what's going on, but hopefully when I unpause, headlamp will be in there. Okay, yeah, I hate dealing with a glitchy database when I'm trying to, especially when I'm trying to just show it off a little bit. But yeah, so here's what you got right here. If you did a search for headlamp, a few things would come up. So let's say that I did want to do some sort of headlamp diagnosis, or periodic maintenance. That sounds like it's even easier to just kind of dive into here when you're a novice. So driver controls, periodic maintenance of the headlamp, and then you can go to aiming adjustment. And when you do that, that will take you, this might take a minute to load, but it'll take you right here. I'm going to pause while it loads. Woo, this database is glitchy. Okay, all right, let's try something else. All right, so how about diagnostics for headlamp function, component function check. Let's hope that that'll have something for me. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's see.
Could not find the text to read.
Whatever. Okay, so normally what would happen is just like how we saw that thing populate with the brake shoe, that would also populate here. Now, this is for repair. You've also got general maintenance, and this can be very, very helpful. This can be very helpful even if you're not somebody who's going to be working on the car. You're just going to be owning the car, but needing to keep maintenance up on it. So I have my Nissan Altima, and I have this one, the Nissan Altima S. I believe it's 2.5 liter. Fuel is gas, of course. Driver type, me. Four-wheel drive. No, wait, that's not a four-wheel drive. Okay. And so it's unknown, operating condition, normal. So then what you can do from there, once you put that information in there, then you can see it will default to 5,000, and you can see what services are recommended at 5,000 miles. So some of the things, check for leaks, replace oil, top offs, inspections, that sort of thing. But if you change this, then you will see that the service will also change. So let's do 10,000. And as you can see, now this list has gotten a lot longer because there are, after 10,000 miles, a bunch of other things that you have to do that you didn't have to do at 5,000. And you can even use this to toggle. So at the 15,000, what happens? Now it's lighter, but then these recommendations also apply. So forth and so on. There you go. So we did have better luck, at least with the maintenance, trying to show off the maintenance as opposed to when we were trying to show off repair. Let me go to bulletins first. Actually, if there are any recalls on your vehicle, this is where you can find them. And in fact, they are still recalling on 2014 Altimas. And trust me, my 2014 Altima was a POS. And if you don't know what a POS is, just look it up, Google it, and you will find out that that thing it's still out there and is a POS. But all of these recalls, even after all this time, all of these recalls and maintenance bulletins and things like that, but what you can do, you can just click that and it'll tell you exactly. And this is the applied vehicle. I have a 2014, so it falls under there. Rear suspension, lower link. This stuff right here. I don't know what any of it means, but this is something that Nissan thought was important enough that they put out a recall campaign bulletin regarding it. Okay, so that's something, again, that you all should be aware of. And this is something that people may come into your library trying to get some information on. So be aware of that. All right. Now with this, again, I'll be honest with you. I've never understood the labor estimator. I've had mechanics come in or call, and they would understand it. I had no idea what any of this stuff meant. So if you view operations, let's again just do brakes. Let's do what we know. Okay. Yeah, see, like this. So service time in hours. I guess what they're saying is this is how long it should theoretically take to pull off this function that you need to pull off as a mechanic. If you're going to do this thing as far as adjusting a park and brake, it should take a half hour, or a Chilton time 0.7 of an hour or 70% of an hour, whatever that equals out to be, okay? And then you see this hours, children suggested service times based on normal operating conditions, and then severe based on heavy use, okay? So yeah, you may not know exactly what that means, but you can probably find out if you're a librarian. Go ahead and research, and you can probably find out. And if I had more time, I would try to find out right now, but I'm sure you all want your grades and everything, and so I should probably get grading and not spend too much time on that. However, let's go ahead and before we move on, let's go ahead and just look at this really quick. So this is the test prep area. So remember when I told you all about Learning Express Library earlier in the semester and how it had practice tests? Well, this has like practice tests as well, okay? And so you can take these practice tests. I'm going to go ahead and fail it real quick just so you can see what happens after you take it. Boom, boom. I'm not even reading the questions. Boom, boom. And come on, hurry up. Good. Almost done. So, and then you can submit the quiz. And when you submit the quiz, confirm. Ooh, I got a 42. That's actually not bad for something that I didn't even pay attention to. Okay. But still, don't let me anywhere near your car. And so that's how that works. Now, again, I'm going to see if that small engine repair database is available with any of my other member libraries, but if it's not, I'm just going to call it a quits here and just say that that other database does search really similarly to this one. But instead of having cars, that small engine database tends to have things like ski mobiles, lawnmowers, tractors, other types of things that run on engines, okay? All right, hold on. All right, yeah, it's not there. So yeah, let's go ahead and play this out. Y'all don't need a long check-in video anyway, I'm sure. So yeah, this one was a quick one. They're rarely ever under 20 minutes for me. Let's not look that get horse in the mouth. I am Dr. Jace, and Chilton's is the database that you want to use if there are breaks that you need to replace. Jace replaced, got my rhyme, I can go to sleep. I am so pleased to be your instructor this semester, and I don't take it lightly. Thank you for providing me that opportunity. Until we meet next week, take care and enjoy yourselves. Good night.